Over the past 2 weeks, the WWE has been releasing talent as they do every year, and it's time we look at the list of who's been released and break down if it was good for them, good for the company, overall what their potential was, and what they can do outside of the WWE. But before we dive into that, make sure you leave a like on the video as it helps the channel grow, and we are on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things professional wrestling. Starting off, I do want to give a shout out to the SmackDown Hotel. That is the website I'm using. I will put a link to it in the description, so go check that out. They're an incredible website for everything wrestling. Just check out that website, it's awesome. First released on January 31st, we have Duke Hudson. He was a part of Chase U, and the reason they released him was he is 35 years old and he's still in NXT, still in developmental. They didn't really see a future for him on the main roster, which you think about it, 35 years old, still in development, you'd think, yeah, that makes sense. But you look at the main roster, a lot of them are 40 and above, like they're up there in age, but they just didn't see Duke Hudson being that guy, one of those guys that can be that old and still, you know, be contributing to the company. I am all about bringing in more talent, having a loaded roster, as long as you know what to do with them, and having Chase U on the main roster would be cool. I don't know how well their gimmick would have translated to the main roster. I think they would have done fine, but they could always use more tag team wrestling, so it is a shame to see him go without getting a full run on the main roster. But I think by himself, I don't see much potential. If him and his tag team partner were to get released at the same time, I could see them maybe going to Ring of Honor, AEW, TNA, but by himself, I just don't think he really has it, and I don't really expect to see much of him now that he's gone. Then next up is Akan and Rezar, the authors of Pain. Now this one is probably top 4 releases. I'm like, they probably should have kept them, who knows. Akan and Rezar, I haven't really cared about them since they've come back or at all. They've done nothing with the Final Testament. Same with Paul Ellering, we'll put him in there because he was the manager of the Authors of Pain and also the Final Testament. They've really done nothing. They've given me no reason to care about them. Karrion Kross's work post NXT, I have not cared one single bit about. He was awesome at NXT, then he grew some hair, got released, came back, and it's just not worked at all for me. The only time I remember caring about Authors of Pain was back when Seth Rollins did his heel turn with the Monday Night Messiah gimmick, and he was like, they were like their enforcers for Seth Rollins. That's like the last time I really cared, but that's now going on, what, 5-6 years ago. So I could see them again going to a Ring of Honor. I don't think they really have much of a future. I don't see him going and being AEW tag team champions, but I don't know. I if they don't see them as a competent team on the roster, it's going to draw money and, you know, have a good future for them, then sure, go ahead and release them. I'm not sad about it. I'm not happy about it, but it's just kind of Blair Davenport. This is the one a lot of people are upset about. I think it was Sean Ross Sapp who said, and it was a really specific quote, is about championships going away versus properly booking divisions. You think of like the WWE, like hardcore championship, like it's cool, but it gets to a point where they can't really book it that well. And so instead of like getting rid of the title, just build up the division better. I think Blair Davenport would kind of fit that, as in the women's championships, as in the World Championship, the Women's WWE Championship, now we have the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship. They're going to need people to fill in those divisions, and I think Blair Davenport would have been perfect for it. I could see her challenging Lyra Valkyria, the Intercontinental Championship. She could challenge Chelsea Green for the United States Championship. I could see her as a main, World Heavyweight Champion. I could see her as a World Champion, but I don't know what they didn't see in her. They chose not to renew her contract, and she's gone. I do think she will end up in AEW, but she is one that I'm kind of really sad that's going. I think the women's roster needs more talent, so it's not the same people over and over again. Charlotte, and I just think Blair would have been a really nice addition to the divisions, and it could have been really cool with them. Now we have Cedric Alexander. The most obvious choice, and the one I'm going to go with, is that he is going to go to AEW. He will sign and join the Hurt Syndicate with Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, just remaking the Hurt business in WWE, now doing it in AEW. I love it. Cedric is a great wrestler. He already put on Twitter that he's not going to retire. He's going to continue doing this for a long time. I agree he should. He's awesome. He has everything it takes to be in the ring. He could be a tag team champion. He could go for the trios championship now with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I think he's just great. I think he has what it takes to be a champion in any organization he's in. And I think WWE kind of underutilized him. And maybe it's a blessing in disguise. He can go somewhere else that might be utilized. Now we have a lot of people like Swerve Strickland, Ricochet, that are going to other companies and they're doing decently well. I think Cedric could be one of those guys. And even if he goes to AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, and he doesn't instantly go with the Hurt Syndicate, but just goes by himself, I think he can find success. Like I talked about with Blair Davenport, Sonya Deville, is she amazing in the ring, the greatest promo? No. But she can be a good part of your women's division, and you could put a title on her and be very credible with it. So another reason why I'm like, I don't know why they're not keeping them around. The rumor is that like they're doing all these roster cuts so that it'd be an influx of NXT talent and a lot of call-ups, but you can still do that and keep other wrestlers around. So Sonya Deville, I'm a little sad to see her go. I wasn't a huge fan of her, but it's always sad when people lose their jobs. And a kind of dwindling division is kind of getting more and more cut. So I have faith that when you introduce 2 more titles, that you have the faith in your talent that they can step up. And we're kind of seeing that now with Ivy Nile of American Made kind of challenging for Lyra Valkyrie's Intercontinental Championship. I think it's a great use of her. Very credible, should be a great feud. I think Sonya Deville would have also benefited from having a mid-card championship or even a world championship. I think she was that level. I think she was over with the fans, and it sucks that she's gone. Isla Dawn. Now, this is one that kind of bothers me. The women's tag team division is essentially non-existent. She was one of your wrestlers in that division. That's just Naomi and Bianca Belair, and I don't expect those two to be in that division for very long. Like, yes, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel, and they're using like damage control, but I really don't see them using this division at all. They've been terrible about booking it, and so when you're cutting people from the roster that are in that division, it just sucks knowing that like there's not going to be a lot of challengers. We're going to see the same, Bianca and Naomi matches we've been seeing for a long time, and I don't think they're going to be champions for a long time. I couldn't even tell you who will take the titles. I'm guessing Liv and Raquel, but I don't want Liv to be a tag team champion. I want her to be the champion. And so I just don't know. I don't get it. I want big rosters. I want people that they can call on and step up and be on the card. And I think she was one of them that was just able to go out there and do her job and do it well enough that she's a former tag team champion. I don't see why she couldn't be it again. Now with Elekra Lopez, I'm skipping down to the end. Elekra Lopez was a wrestler and manager for Legado del Fantasma. She was fine. I'm not going to miss her. I don't think she was the greatest thing. I don't think she could be a future world champion. So she's gone. Is what it is. No more else to say there. Now the Good Brothers, Karl Anderson, Luke Gallows, they are getting up there in age. They're obviously with AJ Styles, Bullet Club, and all that. I was really shocked to see them gone because I was wondering, like, where were they before like Styles came back? Like, what was going on there? They're doing a little bit in NXT, but I could 100% see them coming back with AJ Styles and doing the club, the OC, they're going to call him, and they could be another prominent member of the tag team division, which the tag teams are doing pretty well right now, but it doesn't hurt to have even more people there. I definitely could see Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson going back to TNA, going to AEW, going to New Japan, and being great either singles wrestlers or being better tag team wrestlers together. And I don't know, I was never a great fan or huge fan of them in the ring. I think they still had a couple more, at least one more championship run in them. Properly book them, especially when you have like AJ Styles back and you have the 3 of them. AJ is now on Raw. You could have them go out there and have matches with the War Raiders, but I don't know why. That's why I think a lot of these, I don't see why they cut all these people when divisions need people in them. Even if you're going to lose, you're going to lose every week. You need people to do that. I did skip over Giovani Vinci. He's an interesting one. That's going to be interesting to see when his 90-day no-compete clause comes out, or he can start speaking on what really happened, because there were some people that were really high on him. I saw some stuff saying that like they started doing vignettes for him and that people were really excited to see what he was going to do. They're making entrances for him, making attires for him, and out of the blue, he was dropped. He was an Imperium. We didn't really get a lot of matches with, or even a real story with that, getting dropped with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. And it kind of cool to see him kind of going on solo, but then he kind of just got buried and he's losing to Apollo Crews, and he just never really found his footing, and it didn't help that he wasn't really getting booked the best. I guess they found him as just like the worst member of Imperium, and once Gunther started doing well and Ludwig Kaiser got his singles push instead of just being Gunther's lackey, there was no real need for him. They broke up the tag team, broke him out of there, and just didn't really think he had it as a singles wrestler. So I can see him, I know I say for almost everyone, I can see him going probably to like a TNA and doing good in TNA, or going to AEW and having a decent run. But I think the most success he's going to have outside of the company now we'll be talking about what really went down the past couple months. So that is all the wrestlers that have been released in the past couple of weeks. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Who are you most sad to see let go? And where do you think they're going to end up? Think they'll go to TNA, AEW? Think they'll retire from the ring? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.